Some of these points you can note it down. For a dreamer, dream is not a dream in the dream. For the dreamer, the dream is waking state. For the dreamer, I repeat, for a dreamer, dream is not a dream in the dream. For the dreamer, dream is a waking state in the dream. This is the point that you will have to know. Condition of the first factor, condition of the subtle body in the dream state of experience. It's partial subtle functioning of partial subtle body. In the sense, it's functioning of only the subtle body constituted of 20 components. Right? Out of the 20, only one component manifests in the dream state of experience. That's the condition of the subtle body in dream state of experience. Now, if you analyze the dream, we are going to talk a little bit more about dream later, but primarily, if you say it only thrown out from memory, how a dreamer is experiencing real life experience. Inside the dream, for the dreamer, it's like a waking state. For the dreamer, please now mark my words. Inside the dream personality, whatever he experiences is real to him. And how anything thrown from memory is so real. Now this is where we have to go back to the material by which thoughts are made. Memory is nothing but storage of thoughts. Even digested and dream, we said it's undigested experiences or undigested thoughts being thrown out. What are those undigested thoughts? It's made of subtle matter. And what is the memory? It's a 5-dimensional recording attributing only to the senses. Apart from that, the intellect, the experiences by the intellect, the experiences by the mind, the emotions is also recorded. It's a multi-dimensional player. The memory is a multi-dimensional recorder, and when it is played out, how it will play out? Will it play out like your radio, just the audio? Or will it play like your television? Or when the memory plays out, when the thoughts are thrown out, will it play like a 3D movie in a movie hall? Even sometimes talk about 4D movie theaters where they sprinkle little water to give some effect and shake the seats. But that is 4D, but this is multi-D. When multi-dimensional thoughts are thrown out, it thrown out the 3 dimensions, space as a dimension, time as a dimension, and the experiences, all that is thrown out in a multi-dimensional way. Because the thoughts are thrown in multi-dimensional way for the dreamer, and it feels everything real in the dream. Now, in the dream state, only the memory function. Whatever the mind, intellect, ego, all of the dream personality, all from the memory. It's a memory ego, memory mind, memory intellect, memory gross body. Because the dream person have a gross physical body that comes from where? Memory thrown out in multi-dimension. Experiences thrown out in multi-dimension is the memory mind. All the partial, some analysis that he does in the dream is the memory intellect that is thrown out. And any declaration, very emphatic declaration by the dreamer in the dream is from the memory ego. So the condition of the subtle body is only play of memory in the dream state of experience. Now the second factor, the nature of experience in the dream state. In the waking state we saw it is external. Here it is, in the dream state it's totally internal because it's memory based. So the total experience is internal in the sense you can sleep in Mumbai and you can dream of being in Shanghai. Instantly you can, from Shanghai you can go to LA. Because it's the memory that throws out thoughts, So you can have multitude of experiences, all internal experiences in a short span of time. And in waking state of experiences, the experience is concrete because there is a outside, external, tangible universe. Here, the thoughts, in the dream state of experience, the experience is abstract. It's not concrete. And why it is abstract? Because the whole things are built on thoughts. Thoughts are not tangible. Only gross matter is tangible. Next, you had an objective universe in the waking state. In the dream state, you have a subjective universe or your private universe of your own. You are in the sense the dreamer. When we are analyzing dream state of experience. So in the dream state of experience, for the dreamer, he cast his private universe. How the private universe is cast? Because of the 5-dimensional, multi-dimensional throwing out of thoughts from memory. So whatever that experiences, all belong only to you. Even if you win $1 million lottery, it belongs to you. You cannot share that fortune with your near and dear ones in the waking state. So that private universe fully belongs to you. The dream objects are nothing but thrown from your memory. So it's a subjective universe. And it is non-transactional. In the waking state, it is transactional in the sense you not only experience through your sense objects, then with the interaction with the mind and intellect, you can deploy your organs of actions, and the organs of action can add positivity to your total personality or negativity to your total personality. So there is transactional. Either you can go up in life or come down in life, but that effort can be done in the waking state. But in the dream state, it is non-transactional. You can only experience. Experience what? Experience the thought that is thrown out from the memory. And what that memory consists of? All the experiences in the waking state. Now, you note this point. Whatever that you have not experienced in the waking state, you cannot dream about. In other words, whatever you have collected in the waking state, only those things you can recollect from the dream state. Another nice example. It's a yucky example for some, but it's a fact. You cannot puke or vomit which you have not eaten before. Or you can only puke the food what you ate. You cannot puke the food or vomit the food which you didn't eat in the past. I forgot to mention one point earlier. I was talking about different kind of experiences. You go here and there within short span of time. So what does it mean is when the memory is thrown out or when the undigested thoughts are thrown out from the memory as dream, it need not be thrown out in a particular sequence. The thoughts are thrown out in a jumbled way. Just same like, this is the example that I can give of. You can think of your own example. You can call me yucky, you and all that. But when you puke, you won't puke in the order that you ate. When the puke comes out, when the vomit comes out, undigested food comes out, it will not come in a sequence of your eating. It will come in a jumbled way. Likewise, you have registered. First of all, you registered unconnected thoughts, unconnected experience in your system. And then, even in your experience itself is not sequential in the waking state. Now, how one can expect a sequential throwing out of undigested thoughts? So, that's why you experience disconnected, you experience in the dream disconnected experiences, disconnected geographical locations, unconnected, meeting unconnected personalities, all in one dream. Hope this example and this experience kind of conforms to what I say. When I said you cannot dream of anything that you have not experienced before, naturally I can understand some of you will immediately want to question that. Of course, I try to answer some of the potential questions that anybody would put forth. That apart, if you will, I'm sure you will have multitude of questions which we will discuss, which we are going to take it up later. But some of the obvious questions, I think it will be justified if I can address those. Some of you might argue, no, there is new experience in my dream. Totally new experience which I have not experienced before. That is because it's the combination of various thoughts, various experiences at different stages of your life. All can combine to some of the previous experiences in your life. You could have forgotten so many things we forget in life. So those can come from your memory, plus some new things, and permutation, lot of permutation combination will happen inside the dream. Like you can dream of flying, or you can't even ride a bicycle, but you can dream of flying a fighter jet. So all that different new experiences, seemingly new experiences, is all because of the combination of permutation combination of various experiences that you had in the past. Again, still you may not agree. You say, no, extremely new. I'm very clear about my memory. This I have never experienced because it was so in a fantasy world. You remember the waking state in the waking state, the memory registers not only the experiences that you have in the external world, the memory also register your imaginations. You read a fictional novel, all your Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, all that movies that you see, all that before the movie came, whoever read the book, they had their own imaginations. Those are registered in the memory. Again, those things combined together, it will definitely give you a totally new experience, isn't it? And not only that, some things that you may not experienced in this life, very streak. I'm not saying it happens all the time. It happens, we already discussed, it can happen to a baby. Now fit that into a newborn baby or a baby up to the age of 1 year. When the baby is sleeping, when a baby is having 1 year of life experience, how much memory that it can store in this life? Barely minimal. But if it has to express an emotion while sleeping, obviously it's dreaming. Dream is nothing but thoughts thrown out from memory. How that baby is able to express emotion while sleeping. We can only conclude it had carried not only the knowledge from the past, fine streak of memory should have been carried in the early stage of life. Thereafter, when this life takes predominance, by the time age when the baby is 5-6 years old, it can't remember what it dreamt of when it was 1 year old. Still, there could be some people claiming, no, I clearly remember my past life. These are exceptions, deviations. Let's not get into that. We'll just stick to the basics that can help in analyzing the dream state of experience. Continuing with the analysis of the nature of the subtle body in the dream state, some people claim they dream of future events. Recently, I happened to watch 1 or 2 episodes of one Korean drama. It's called While You Are Sleeping or When You Are Sleeping, something like that. The 3-4 characters constantly dream of only future events. When we in the sense, factually, dream is nothing but undigested thoughts thrown out. They propose something, okay, it's applicable for movies and dramas, okay, but in real life, some people claim they dream of future events. By definition, if dream is nothing but undigested thoughts of the memory of the past experience, then this cannot fall under the category of dream. What some extraordinary people claim is nothing but some extrasensory power they might have. But it's a freak incident, can happen once in a millennia for one person. It has a logic behind. There is a saying called the future casts the shadow before, something to that effect. I don't know the exact, as it is my English is in doldrums to exactly say any sayings or proverb. A future casts a shadow before, something to that effect. That you kind of do a differentiation in your own life. If you are really a relatively clear person, if you plan for tomorrow a set of 10 actions exactly to happen in this sequence, and provided the conditions for tomorrow are conducive and supporting to execute your 10 set of actions that you planned this evening to execute tomorrow. If you are so clear enough, you will clearly see the tomorrow in front of your eyes in a step-by-step manner, because of your thought that can project the future event. So that is something exaggerated, is the extrasensory perception, where someone maybe in the ancient time have extremely strong intellect and extremely strong access to data, able to connect multitude of cause and effect and provide clear-cut project a clear-cut future event. It is highly theoretical, but it is not impossible. There could be some extraordinary intellect from the past they could have done, but that is, since it is not from memory, it doesn't come under the classification of dream, but this is one strict possibility. With this, the nature of the subtle body in the dream state of experience is over. Now we will move on to the predominant medium. Easy. What is the predominant medium in the dream state? Whole thing we are discussing only that, memory. Now, just a small point to note, how you go to dream state throughout the day, the three powers that we talked, that was pervading your waking state. What are the three powers? The knowledge power, the desiring power, and the acting power. When these three are predominant, you have no other choice but to be in waking state. When this keeps on happening, predominantly what tires the body is the organs of action, because your mind is pushing the body to act. At one point the body needs rest. Then when you go to sleep, the fourth factor takes over, the inertia power in your system. That suppresses these three powers, so you are induced into sleep. The inertia power or suppressive power in your personality temporarily overtakes the knowing power, desiring power, acting power. You go into deep sleep first. From waking state, you cannot directly go into dream state. First, you have to go to deep sleep state. Likewise, from the dream state, you cannot immediately go into waking state. If you, from the deep sleep, you go to dream. If you want to wake up, the hierarchy is from the dream state, you have to go back to deep sleep state. From deep sleep state, you go to waking state. I will tell the logic behind. For many people, the second aspect would be little like a shocker. You dream, and suddenly you wake up. But I'll explain the logic behind that. But what I was trying to get at is, when you are in deep sleep, how the dream comes, that's the processing of undigested thoughts, the defragmentation that happens in the memory. Whatever it wants to throw out, it takes the dream state. In the sense, the dream world is created for throwing out the undigested thought. Now, coming back to the logic, why I said you cannot go to dream state from waking state is simultaneously a person, because if you have to go from dream to go from waking state to dream state, it's like two different personalities. Even you cannot have a point of transition. You cannot hold the same. At the point of transition, there is a simultaneous existence of waking state and dream state. That is logically not possible. You cannot wear two clothes at the same time. Only in some magic shows, some dancers in sports shows, they wear 2-3 dresses, they dance, and then after few seconds they go behind the screen and then they touch something here, they're already wearing inside, that dress comes out. But in real, if you want to wear two clothes, if you want to change clothes, what do you do? How much ever fast you change clothes, momentarily, even if you change within 3 seconds, that 3 seconds you have to be naked, momentarily naked. That nakedness is the deep sleep. From the waking state, you go to deep sleep, then go to dream. This many people can accept. Okay, you go to deep sleep, then I come out. When you are dreaming, you suddenly wake up. That's what it's difficult for many people to digest, how you can go to deep sleep and come back. But the logic is true. Even if it is for a fraction of a second, from dream, you have to jump back to your seat condition and the resultant will push to your waking state of experience. Having concluded the 3 factors to analyze the dream state of experience, I thought I would give some partial facts. It's not partial facts, it's facts about dream. You note down these points. This might come in handy when we finished creation topic in the future classes. No. Some of these points you can note it down. For a dreamer, dream is not a dream in the dream. For the dreamer, the dream is waking state. For the dreamer, I repeat, for a dreamer, dream is not a dream in the dream. For the dreamer, dream is a waking state in the dream. This is the point that you will have to know. Now, dream is unreal. Who understands dream is unreal? We define dream as the undigested thoughts thrown out from the memory of whom? Memory of wakers. Memory of the person who was in the waking state. So, dream is nothing but the waker's mind. Who knows it is waker's mind? Only the waker know it is waker's mind, and the people in the waking state also will agree, yeah, dream is nothing but the waker's mind. But it's not applicable for the dreamer in the dream. So we will have to analyze what the dreamer goes through in the dream from the dreamer's perspective. Sitting from waking state, we are analyzing the dream personality now. We understand the dreamer is ignorant that the dream world is unreal. The person in the waking state knows the dream world is unreal, but for the dreamer, he is ignorant of the fact that the dream world is unreal. This is one point you have to note. Next point you have to note is, dreamer is ignorant that it is the memory of the waker that is playing out as a dream. For the dreamer, in the dream, he is ignorant that the dream experiences are nothing but the waker's mind. Another point to note is, the dreamer is also ignorant that he is the waker and it is his own memory that is playing out. He was the waker, not he's the waker, he was the waker, and it's his own memory is playing out. Therefore, the dream and the dream world and the dream persons, including the dream universe, inside the dream you can have the dream galaxies, inside the dream you can have the James Webb telescope, inside the dream it can look at the edge of the universe, inside the dream it can capture one of the oldest galaxies in the observable universe. All that happen inside the dream. But inside the dream, for the dreamer, everything is real. It appears real for him. And the dreamer acknowledges that the whole thing is unreal only after he wakes up. These are the points that I want you to note it down. This point will come in handy at a later stage. And for a dreamer to come to a waking state, though he has to go to deep sleep and come out, he don't need to put extraordinary effort to wake up, because the resultant desires will push him to the waking state of experience. And you also have to note, a person in the dream after wake up cannot go back to the same dream. He can have a similar dream at a later date or in the same night. In the night you dream, you wake up, you have a glass of water, it's a minor nightmare. Then when you go back to sleep, you cannot go back to the same dream. You can get into another dream which could be similar to the same dream, but it cannot be in the same dream. And finally, upon waking up, the dreamer and the dream world disappears. These are some points that I want you to note down before we get on to deep sleep state of analysis. And we will do an extensive analysis of dream state at a later stage, because this is going to be analysis of dream state will come in handy to understand consciousness, infinity, and our title capturing infinity. All that are more abstract topics. To understand that, this analogy, this comparison will come in handy. So with this, the analysis of dream state of experience is completed. Next we will move on to deep sleep state of experience, which we kind of mostly covered in the first time as causal body. Then the bliss layer is the same thing now, deep sleep state of experience. Now let's see what if there is any additional point that we think it is important to know of. To an extent, we had covered deep sleep as the causal body and in the bliss layer in the earlier analysis. But let's see if we can find some more points in this three-point analogy. As you know, deep sleep state of experience is dreamless sleep. The first point is, what is the condition of the subtle body? Is there a subtle body in deep sleep? You all know. The mind, intellect, memory, ego is totally non-functional in deep sleep state. In the waking state, it was fully functional. In the dream state, partially functional, only in the form of memory. In deep sleep state, completely non-functional. Having said that, what happens when it is non-functional? We told the inertia power takes over all the three other powers that we saw, the knowing power, desiring power, acting power, that goes into dormant stage, the suppression power takes over. That's why you go into deep sleep. In that state, you cannot declare that I am sleeping. When you say I am sleeping, it means you are not sleeping. So you can always say I was sleeping. But for you to declare I was sleeping, I think we covered earlier, there has to be one streak of thought in the deep sleep state pervading from the time you get into deep sleep till the time you wake up. So that streak of thought registers this sleep, and when you wake up, it's able to correlate between the time you went to sleep and the time you woke up. So that time difference you are able to recognize. And second, the nature. The nature of experience in the dream state is total ignorance, we know earlier. In the waking state, it was external, concrete and objective. In the dream, it was internal, abstract and subjective. Here, total blankness. It's a total state of ignorance. That's the state where the entire physical body takes rest, the mind takes rest, it relaxes, rejuvenates and prepares for the next set of action after waking up. So there is no stress, no worry, no anxiety. So it is total ignorance and total bliss. That is the saying, ignorance is bliss. So this is the state, ignorance is bliss. And this bliss is common for a poor man, a middle class man and a rich man. Moment they are into sleep, that bliss aspect is the same for all. You can be the poorest of the poor, richest of the rich. But the state of bliss is exactly common to all cadres of financially or societally established people. Or even if you see in one of the best aircrafts, you see the first class suite, the business class cabins and the economy cabins. People travel in all three classes. Moment they go into deep sleep, really which class they travel, does it matter? Ironically, at least in my experience, I have seen in business class cabins, the guys roll on that fully extended bed in a business class seat. He's not able to sleep for whatever reasons that you all might know. But if you see in the economy class, strangers will, lie on each other and sleep throughout the flight. Anyway, this is a minor deviation, but that's the fact. And that apart, there is yet another kind of deep sleep that is induced. I'm sure you all can know. One is coma. Once you get into coma, it's also kind of a deep sleep. And once you get into anesthesia, total anesthesia, it is also kind of deep sleep. So in these two induced deep sleep, these two are induced deep sleep. In coma, you are in deep sleep. In total anesthesia, you are in deep sleep. And the same thing applies. If you wake up from coma, if you wake up from anesthesia, then there is one single streak of thought pervaded throughout the time you are in coma. It could be 10 years, 15 years in coma, or 2 days in coma, or 12 hours or 15 hours of surgery, you go into anesthesia. Throughout that time, one small streak of thought registers the deep sleep experience. So with this, the analysis of deep sleep state of experience is over. And with this, the 11 aspects or the 11 major components of the entire human composition analysis is over. Now we'll take a break and we will come back with analysis of infinity, consciousness and relationship, and thereafter we'll take up creation topic.